Okay, so we're going to do a demo. Now, before we start, for this group, what would you like to see? Would you like to see, the intake interview? Do you want to see any particular techniques, or you want to just see what I would do with a client? I have no idea what we're going to work on.
There's two different things, either soul retrieval or where you take them up to where they pass from one life into
The between life?
between lives.
Okay. That might be a little bit outside the scope of this class, but we can do it.
Yes. Secondary gains in parts therapy applies.
Okay. Anybody else have
Soul
one?
retrieval too.
And soul retrieval. All right. We're gonna get some work done.
Getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah, you can decline the invitation. Anything else?
Can you explain soul retrieval?
It's really in a different class. This was going to be more the hypnotherapy past life.
Okay.
But it's when we lose fragments of our energetic field, and we can go back and get those. So a couple of the students here were in that class recently. So
Would it just be better for me to observe this?
no, it's okay.
You chose a number that you generally wouldn't.
You obviously were supposed to do it.
meant to be.
Anything else anybody wants to see? If it comes up, you heard that one.
I like between life because for some reason.
You want like
between life.
Time between lives.
oh between lives?
And
Okay,
the one is going to die, and how you choose another one.
okay.
So
Don't scare you.
You guys.
But listen, this is so cool. I don't know anything about that one. It's maybe interesting.
Anything else?
I just wanted to see past life. That's
So mostly past life. Okay. So now we'll ask what our client wants, huh?
Past life would be great.
Okay. So in wanting to experience a past life, what would be the purpose of that for you? Like, what would you want to achieve out of that?
Well, I feel that there are some things that sometimes I wonder why I'm always searching for a place to live and why it doesn't feel right. And then where I'm living right now is in gold country, and I really feel that I have been brought there because of a past life. So that's one thing that I'm curious about. And then I do just really believe in that this life is connected to my past life. So I would like to know how I might be able to get on a more of a clear path in this life after finding maybe some peace with what I might be hanging on to.
And that last sentence was fascinating for me. Find peace with what I'm hanging on to, which sounds like it opens up a whole other kind of thing. What can you tell me a little bit about that? What are you talking about?
I'm not sure if there's any particular thing that comes to mind, but I just know maybe habits that I have or relationships with certain people. I do find that I have a difficult time just letting go in general, and I wonder why I do that. But I just feel like a lot of the things are probably past life related. So
Okay. And what's your astrology sign?
a Libra.
Libra. Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
All right. So when we achieve these things that you're curious about, what do you anticipate your experience will be? What will shift inside of you when we when we are successful?
I don't know if it could, but I, for some reason, feel that I do have this unsettledness in myself and an unpeace of some kind, and I'm always pushing myself harder to do better, to learn more, and I'm always searching for something. So I would like to maybe not searching as hard as I have been.
Okay. So you're still using the words of the problem.
Okay.
So if you could say that in a positive way, when we're successful in this session, I will be able to blank. I will feel this way.
I will feel more at peace inside myself, more relaxed, more confident. Can't think of anything else.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Have you gone into trance before?
Only once. I did do a past life regression with someone years ago, and I didn't believe that I went into trance.
Okay.
But now I understand that I did. When I did do the past life regression, the last time, she had to tell me to actually speak because I was not wanting to speak. I would just be thinking about where I was going, and it was really difficult for me to find the words to say what I was thinking.
Okay. All right. We'll try to work through that. It'll be important to hear your responses. All right. So take a nice deep breath. Just letting go of any tension, any stress, any concerns. And allowing your energy field to catch up with you, because I know you had a long drive this morning. So just allowing your energy to surround you here in this time and space. And to imagine your favorite safe space, that place of relaxation, protection, and connection. And it may be a place that you have visited in this lifetime, or a place that you go to in your imagination that allows you to feel relaxed and free to be yourself. And as you find yourself in your safe space now, remaining this relaxed and yet able to speak, how would you describe your safe space to me?
It's a place in a forest. It's very lush, and there's a tree on the right side and a stream on the left. And it's very mossy. It's the place that I usually go.
And when you find yourself in that space today, is there anything that has changed or anything that you notice newly?
Not really. It doesn't feel as comfortable as it has in the past, but there's nothing uncomfortable about it either. It does feel like the safest place that I know.
Okay. And as you look around there today, you discover that there is a gift that has been left there for you, a gift of empowerment to bring you certain traits and characteristics that will be so valuable today in our session, as well as you move out in the world. And as you discover that gift now, what is it?
It's a sneaker.
Okay, just one?
Yes.
Okay, so as you take this sneaker in your hand, what energy does that bring you? What's happening?
To me, it symbolizes a forward movement of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't normally wear sneakers, so it's a little out of my comfort zone. It feels light.
Uh-huh. Anything else that it shifts inside of you, or any other message it has for you?
Not that I know of.
So holding on to the sneaker and finding a place to meditate there in this forest. And as you settle in and relax, you allow your mind to begin to meditate, calling upon all of the lifetimes that you have meditated, all the skills and knowledge about how to go deep, deep into trance, and allowing yourself to simply match that brainwave function now. And as I count from 3 to 1, allowing yourself to be teleported to a sacred healing space, a place that is filled with dense energy that is there just for you. 3, 2, 1. And as you find yourself moving into this sacred healing space, how would you describe that to me?
It's warm, and there's a sunset or sunrise. I feel like it's Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It's very flat, and the sky is full of colors.
And I would like for you to lay your hands on something there in that sacred space. And what is it that you touch?
It's just the earth.
And what happens when you touch the earth there?
It's dry and the dirt shifts.
And what happens internally for you as you place your hands on this dry earth?
I feel comforted and warm.
And what do you think it means that when you touch the earth, it shifts?
It's the dry layer of dirt that is kind of laying on top of a harder, denser level. So to me, it means that it's just a very dry place. And that's naturally how the earth is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I would like for you to find a place to meditate here. And as you settle into a space, you begin to meditate even deeper. And as you do so, you begin to imagine a hallway stretching out in front of you. And this hallway can look like anything you choose. And as you begin to move down along this hallway, you notice the texture of the floor covering beneath your feet and the color of the walls. And there are doorways along this hall, each one leading to a past life memories, experiences that will be so valuable for you today in understanding the issues you brought up of searching for the right place, connections to where you live now, a clear path for you to walk. And as I count from 3 to 1, finding yourself in front of one of these doors, 3, 2, 1. And how would you describe this door to me?
It's a heavy stone door. The hallway was a type of cave with some flat, rounded, orange-colored rocks that were stacked all around. And the door itself is one solid piece of stone.
Okay. And how would one open this door?
Looks like there's a doorknob on the left, and I could just push it open.
Okay. And so as this door opens and you step through, where are you, indoors or outdoors? How would you describe your location?
It's more outdoor. Well, I guess the hallway is through a cave, so in that sense it's indoors, but it's in a natural setting, so it feels like it's outdoors. It's through a rock formation.
Okay. And so what are you doing there?
Relaxing, soaking in a new place, and the spiritual energy.
And are you there alone or with others?
I'm alone.
And a little time passes. And what happens next?
I'm hesitant to open the door, so I'm looking around to see where the rest of the hallway goes. I'm wondering where the light will be seen again if I continue down the hallway.
Mm-hmm. And so why would you hesitate at this door?
Just the unknown of not knowing what's beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
It seems heavy, but I know that it would open easily if I pushed on it.
Okay. And so what would be the benefit, do you think, of going through this door that your subconscious mind chose for you?
To, if it's something that I have a fear or a setback with, it's just to move past that and get beyond what I'm uncomfortable with.
Any other benefit?
And the curiosity of what's on the other side.
Anything else?
Moving forward through to somewhere else rather than staying back.
Mm-hmm. And what would be the downside of going through that particular door?
Finding that there's insecurity on the other side and having the door close behind me and not being able to get back.
Anything else? Any other downside?
Well, maybe leaving behind what I do have, but there's really where I've been placed at this time, there's no one else there, so I don't feel like I have those things to worry about so much.
Okay. And if you find a different door, if you keep searching, what would be the benefit of that?
Probably just the same things. It's just I think it doesn't matter which door. I think they all have the same uncertainty behind them.
So would there be any benefit in searching?
Yes. Most of it is curiosity. But now I'm more curious about what's beyond the stone door since I've been looking at it longer.
Mm-hmm. And so would there be any downside to picking a different door?
No.
Okay. And so what have you decided to do?
Now I'd like to walk down the hallway and see what other doors there are, and to know that I could come back to the stone door if I chose.
So I'm curious that do you see any correlation between this whole process with picking a door and the first thing that you had talked to me about? You wanted to do the past life because you wanted to know why you search for a place to live and nothing ever feels right. And how would you correlate this experience so far in the hallway with what you experience in your real life? Are there any correlations?
I think in the hallway I don't see the correlation, but through the doors I might.
So what would the hallway represent in your real life? Like, how do you find yourself in the hall?
The
in
hallway
life?
is the present space where I am, where I'm living, and it's just regular life, I guess.
And what would the stone door represent in your real life?
A new challenge, possibly a new place to move or a trip.
And what about the other doors? The fact that there are other alternative doors, how does that show up in your life here?
Well, there's a door further down the hallway to the left that's made of wood, like wooden boards with like a crossed slat to keep it together, so it looks very primitive as well, but made of wood and maybe from a different time period.
Mm-hmm. Why is that significant?
It's just curious that there would be doors made of different substances in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wonder who built it.
Mhm. And how does all of that correlate to options or other aspects of your life here?
It just seems like curiosity.
And how does your curiosity about all the options presented in your life prevent you from moving through a door in your life? How does that correlate to things that might be happening here?
And because in the past I moved through every door that I could see and opened it. And it takes a lot of time to go through each one. I felt like I had to keep coming back to the hallway.
Mm-hmm. So then, how do you make a choice? Or is that the crux?
I think I just need to get up the courage to do it again.
Okay. So what is the hesitation? There's courage, but is it that, I mean, I'll just give an example. For instance, is it that it might just be another worthless door, or it might just, might just be fruitless. It might be another waste of time, or is that what creates the hesitation? Something like that?
It would be a waste of time. There would be a lot of challenges on the other side without as much of a benefit. And going through all of those challenges and wasting the time and then finding that the benefit didn't lie in that door, that I would have to find another door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when all of that, and you think about all of that, how does that feel? What's happening inside?
I wish I had more time. I love the curiosity that I have and the sense of adventure that I have. I've always appreciated, but it has been very difficult to continually do that and not have the stability. So I think for now that stone hallway or cave feels safe and secure and warm and steady, and but there's nothing else there. So I feel like there has to be something beyond one of these doors that I would be interested in doing, or that would actually bring me somewhere, maybe back to I guess now I'm looking, like, where is a door that would bring me back to another lush environment where there are lots of trees and rivers.
Mm-hmm. So it kind of depends on what it is you're looking for as to which the door to choose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how would you know what to look for? In this case, you want lush environment. But what does that represent to you? What would be a lush environment?
I think just that represents just, I think on the one hand, I'm in a dry, warm stone place that feels like it doesn't have a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lush environment would be representative of just so much more that could grow and happen. That it could continually move and grow, rather than a place that is very stagnant and will probably remain that way for millions of years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So then, what would be the purpose of that lushness, if you could find a word? Because it's maybe not the lushness you're looking for, but what?
I would like more. I would like the plants to represent people and relationships. More opportunities and more creativity.
Okay. And if you had all of these, you had people, relationships, opportunities, creativity, then what would you want that's even more important? Like, if that's the intention, what's the goal of that?
A security in a more of a family community existence in my life.
Mm-hmm. And if you had security, family, and community fully and completely in the way that you're imagining it now, then what would you want that's even more important? Or what would that allow you to be, do, or have?
I think that would allow me to really achieve more in terms of my skills and occupation. Maybe I would finally feel like I could take the next step forward in my business. I wouldn't have to be spending so much more time on looking for a place to live.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you were to have the skills, the occupation, know that next step fully and completely, just imagine that you're there now, that you've acquired all that and you've arrived, then what would you want to do, be, or have that's even more important?
Well, I would either be having children or traveling some more, but being able to come back to that place.
Okay, okay. Okay. And so if you had children or travel, but with a home base, fully and completely in the way that you're imagining it, then what would you have or be able to do that's even more important?
It feels like it would be very satisfying at that time, and I'm not sure that I would have something else to
Okay.
looking for.
And so if you were satisfied, if you had that level of satisfaction, what else would you be experiencing? Just allow that to come into your body now, that satisfaction. And What is that experience?
My relationship with my mother came to mind, which has always been really difficult, and it would be like the challenge to work on that with her.
Mm-hmm. What else would you experience in that satisfaction?
In what way?
So, if you had all of these things in your life, if you've set up that environment in this way, I'm just wondering if there's any other feeling or any other essence to what you would be experiencing.
I think I would feel more free to expand in whatever way I was interested in at that time, creatively or spiritually. I wouldn't feel so restricted.
Mm-hmm. So just imagine that freedom right now, that freedom to expand creatively and spiritually. Just fill your body with that. Just allow that to be here in this moment inside of you. And as you fully experience that, I would like for your subconscious mind to provide for you a symbol that you can imagine holding in your hand that represents this level of freedom to expand creatively and spiritually. And what is that symbol?
Seems like it's a mushroom, but it's not a. It's made out of something that's not from this world.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than light, but it's sort of like a bubble of some kind. Almost like a texture of something gelatinous or permeable.
Mm-hmm. And if this mushroom represented your intention, and your intention was like a bow and arrow, you could put this on your arrow, and you were going to aim this bow and arrow at a bullseye that represents your purpose in life, your sole purpose. You could put this mushroom on there, this satisfaction, this freedom to expand creatively and spiritually, and you were going to aim it right at that purpose. What would be the bullseye? What is the purpose? What is it that you came to Earth to do?
I've always believed that I came to Earth to help the environment, and I have thought about learning more and doing more with mushrooms, because there is some new technology with mushrooms and being able to be used for cleaning pollution and
Mhm.
being used as a renewable source of material for medicine.
Mhm. So I want you to imagine standing there with your bow and arrow, and you've got this alien mushroom that is your intention to expand in your creativity and your spirituality. And you're aiming it right at that bullseye to help the environment and perhaps explore new and wonderful ways of using mushrooms. What would that feel like?
At first, my arrow was pointed to the left, and then I just put it directly in front of me to bullseye,
Mm-hmm.
and a rainbow came up around it. Feels good. It feels like I'm achieving something, that I'm helping.
And if you were to let that arrow fly and you hit the bullseye with that, how would that feel?
That I did a part to help.
Mm-hmm.
I'd feel proud of myself.
Okay. So let's go back in the hallway, and I would like to ask your subconscious mind to take you to the doorway that will give you information, experiences, and memories of perhaps other lifetimes that will help to support this new level of understanding of your intention and your purpose. And so now in the hallway, as I count from 3 to 1, finding the same or a different door. 3, 2, 1. And where are you now?
It's a rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like there's a lot of plants all over the place, and Belize came to mind. I've thought about going to the rainforest in Belize, but I wasn't sure why.
Mm-hmm. And so allowing yourself to just be in this rainforest now without analyzing like where it might be or what's happening, just allowing this to unfold like a movie, just being in the movie and allowing it to come to you without effort, without expectation. And just tell me a story. What happens next?
Well, I'm kind of uncomfortable because it's really hot and moist, and there's insects coming up all around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's beautiful. And I don't know where to go because it's just thick, dense foliage.
So then what happens?
now things start to feel like it's silly.
It's okay.
There's a monkey or an ape of some kind that comes down, seems friendly. But I'm still afraid of it.
Then what happens?
I can get on its back and go somewhere else.
Okay.
Takes me through the trees. Everything opens up and there's a big river. I think that there's a civilization down there.
And then what happens?
I can feel afraid to go in, like overwhelmed.
What are you afraid of?
I don't know what kind of people they are.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do?
I'd probably just stay with the monkey, go back into the place with the spiders.
Mm-hmm. Better than these unknown people, huh?
Yeah.
How would you be able to know about these people?
If I had an invisible cloak.
Mm-hmm. What if you opened your third eye and you simply read the situation?
Okay.
What if you were Sherlock Holmes and you could see by small clues? What would you find?
They have their own very particular culture. A lot of particular ways that they do things and follow. Some of them don't seem to be right. Like, could be hurtful. But I don't think that they mean to be that way. I feel like an outsider. They just have little huts with grass roofs. Seems just to be a very primitive situation.
Mm-hmm. So then what happens?
I think that if I was visible and I came in, they would capture me.
So what do you want to do?
I just don't want to I don't want to explore it. I want to just remove myself from there.
Okay, so how do you do that?
I feel like I could just float back out.
And then what happens?
I'm just thinking about going back into the hallway.
Okay. So if you go into the hallway, what do you notice?
Well, I feel like I'm glad that I at least saw what's behind one of those doors. The other two doors, with the wooden one and the stone door, are still there. And I know that it feels nice outside in the warm sun where the sunset is.
Mm-hmm. So you're back in that dry environment?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about being there now?
It feels nice for the time being. I feel like there's probably more to explore out there on the flat ground outside. I'm sure that there's people somewhere. And I think that if I felt comfortable enough, I would just go off looking for wherever there's the next place.
Mm-hmm. And so at the beginning of our session, you also talked about a feeling of being unsettled in your life. And is there anything that you've experienced so far that relates to that same feeling that you have in this life?
Yeah, it all feels like it relates. Um, there's just so many places that are possible, and there's also a lot of fear for people that I wouldn't trust.
So if you understood your purpose and kept your eye on that bullseye that we had set up for you, would you be making the choices to go to these different places?
I'm not sure what you said there.
If you kept your eye on that bullseye instead of all the sparkly little curious places that show up, how would that be a different experience?
Oh, there's a lot of satisfaction in that, but the curiosity is just, I don't know that it goes away.
Mm-hmm. So what is the curiosity when you're allowing it to take your attention off the bullseye? What is the curiosity about?
That there's knowledge and new environments everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if I'm missing something. I wonder if there's more that I could learn somewhere else to add to that bubble that I put on the arrow.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't want to shoot that arrow until I knew everything from everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So does the arrow ever get shot? Can you eventually know everything from everywhere and be that
No, but I don't
diverse?
know. I don't know when I would feel like I was ready to shoot the arrow.
Uh-huh. What if you just decided, I'm going to shoot the arrow and deal with it then?
Because I could always get another arrow.
Mm-hmm. So, in order to accomplish that, in order to get to the bullseye, if that's the thing, if that's your purpose, is it helpful to allow yourself to be distracted by every potential, and even knowing that so many of the potentials turn out to be a waste of time by your own definition?
Well, I think until I find the things that I need to feel secure in my life, to have a place to leave from, or to shoot the arrow from, that feels supported, I can't even think about the arrow, or I can't think about the bullseye.
Let's pretend for a moment. We're just going to do an imagination exercise. Let's pretend for a moment that it doesn't matter if you feel secure and have a place to launch from, that you're simply going to immerse yourself into your purpose. You're just simply going to shoot the arrow and dive deeply into an environmental cause. What would that feel like?
It was something that I really enjoyed and kept me interested. I would be really happy if I felt creative with it, and that I was helping people, helping the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Feel
So what if you just
really
decided to start helping the earth, and if it felt like you weren't creative enough, you just found a way to get creative, and if it didn't feel like you were helping enough people, you just added that to it instead of trying to add everything up before you start helping the earth? Does it feel like maybe it's going backwards? I mean, like it's...
I feel like I just, it doesn't seem like a secure direction at this time, and I can't get past that.
Mm-hmm. So you're looking for security first.
Yeah, like, because there are other things that I really need in my life, like more social experiences and relationships, and a more secure financial position,
Mm-hmm.
and the going into the direction of helping the environment doesn't seem like that would be able to sustain itself.
Mm-hmm. So then security becomes the bullseye, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I just don't know how to get to that security.
Okay. Are you sure that it's something outside of you? Or is that something that would be an internal experience no matter what?
I still feel like I would need the relationships, the family feeling, the community, in order to feel secure.
Okay.
I'm alone a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I need more external things in my life.
Okay. So what I would like to do is ask your subconscious mind to take you to a past life where you already enjoyed all of that security, community, family, so that you can add that to your experiences now, because you have had that in some life somewhere. And so I want you to go into a hall. It could be the same one or a different one. And there will be a door that will take you to a lifetime that will show you what it's like to be in a solid family community situation, okay? All right, so entering into the hall, and as I count from 3 to 1, finding yourself in front of that door, 3, 2, 1. And how would you describe this door?
It's metal.
Okay. And this door opens and you step through. And did you go indoors or outdoors?
Indoors.
And what is the environment like?
It's a small house with a lot of people inside.
Okay. And tell me more about what you're observing.
They seem to be rather poor
Mm-hmm.
but happy. And making the best of their life.
Okay. And who are these people to you? What is your relationship?
I don't know yet.
Okay. So a little time passes. And what are you doing there?
I'm just helping in the kitchen.
And about how old do you feel?
Maybe early 20s.
Are you a girl or boy?
I'm a girl.
Okay. And you said you're helping. Are you helping someone? Is someone else there with you?
Other women in the kitchen.
Okay. So some time passes, maybe some days even. And what has happened? What have you noticed about that existence?
It seems like there's a farming. It's more of an agricultural setting, and these same people that are part of that family are working outside and tending the land.
Mm-hmm. And what is your job in this community? Your work?
Taking care of household things.
And are you married or single?
I'm single.
Okay. And some time passes until there's the next notable experience there. And what happens then?
I think that there's a war or some kind of devastating something coming.
Okay. And how are you sensing that? Is there talk or energy or?
Yeah, there's talk. People are aware that something's going on outside, farther away, but that it's on its way.
Okay. And moving ahead in time to when it is closer or impending or arriving, what's happening? What are you noticing?
People are scared. Just, they are doing what they think that they can do in order to prepare themselves, but they don't feel like they can be prepared. And I'm just going along with that because I don't know what to do.
Okay, so some more time passes, and what happens next?
I think a lot of people die around me. It seems like maybe disease, or that they didn't have enough food.
And as I count from 3 to 1, you'll know where in the world this is taking place. 3, 2, 1.
It seems like it's somewhere like Ireland or Cornwall came to mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And as I count from 3 to 1, you'll know where, or the time frame, the year. 3, 2, 1.
1765 came to mind.
Okay. And so some time proceeds, and what's happening next?
I don't know that I'm even there anymore.
Okay. So I want you to go up to the end of that life, when you're still there, but towards the end. And how old are you at that point?
28.
And what is the cause of your death?
I think some kind of illness.
Okay.
Something with my lungs.
All right. And so just allow yourself to release from that body. Just let it go. And what is that experience like to just cross that threshold of death?
Feels like a release from being around the sadness.
What were you sad about?
Just so many people dying.
Mm-hmm. What else do you notice when you release from that body?
I just feel like more free. That there's a new opportunity, a new existence.
And so looking over that lifetime, what did that allow you to learn?
Well, it started with me feeling like I was part of that happy family that was, they didn't have much, but they were enjoying each other. And so I did experience the love, but I also felt like everyone left.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt that I felt like there was an abandonment.
Did they choose to leave?
No.
What else did you learn from having experienced that?
Just that it's okay after I crossed over.
Okay.
There will be a peace once again.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything that you've learned that will be useful in this life?
Sure.
Okay. And how is seeing that you were a part of that happy family, how does that affect you and who you are here? Like, how does that fit into this life?
I kind of wish that my family would be more happy and content with each other than they are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difference.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I want you to move up to just before you incarnated in this life. So there may have been other lives in between, but when you're in the astral like that, between lives, you can manipulate time very easily. And so just before you chose to come into this body, in this particular incarnation, what was going on when you were making the choice to come into this family in this time and space? Was there a choice? Did you think it out? Was it something sparkly you jumped into? Is it what was going on in that moment of making this choice?
It was a challenge full of lessons. It's as if I chose to be having to work at the relationships that I have.
And why do you think you chose to do that? What was the purpose of choosing those challenges for this lifetime?
Learning better communication that I could use with so many people, not just with my family. Maybe to teach others how to communicate better once I figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to let go of things that aren't really that important but bother me with my family. Not take things so personal.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so we're coming to the end of our time. Is there anything else that you would like to explore before we close for today, or anything else that's coming to mind that you've learned?
No. I think I'm ready.
Okay. So remembering all that you've experienced in this session and allowing the subconscious mind to continue to bring you insight, wisdom, and understanding in the days and weeks to come. As I count from 1 to 5, returning here to the present moment, refreshed, alert, and aware. 1, 2, 3, coming up. 4, aware of this time and space. And 5, fully alert and aware, and returned here to the present moment. Good.
Wow.